Hey guys, it's Karen. So I wanted to come on and talk about when kids have strong emotions. I talk about this a lot with parents and the idea of validating our kids' feelings and letting them be heard and show empathy toward them. Um, but sometimes it's a little confusing as to how to do that or really what that means. And so oftentimes we're trying to be kind when they have, when they're upset. Um, but sometimes what we say or do can actually kind of stop their feelings rather than let them get the feelings out. And they really need to be able to get their feelings out and feel heard so that they can move on. And of course, it helps our relationship with them. Um, so sometimes, your kid's having a strong emotion, you might try to use logic, like explaining to them, like if they're crying that they're really hungry, you're trying to tell them they can't be hungry, they just ate a half hour ago. Or, maybe you try to give them advice of what to do. Maybe you try to like rescue them somehow and fix the situation for them, or minimize it, like, oh, it's not so bad. Or even sometimes distracting kids, like stop crying and let's go have a cookie type thing. um, really isn't listening to kids and validating their feelings. It's really kind of stops that connection you guys have and stops the feeling from being heard. So instead, we want to encourage them to get those feelings out. And so sometimes we'll say, I understand, I had a similar experience. And some kids might not even like that. That might make them a little bit angry, right? Because if you think about yourself when you're relating a story to a friend, and then they jump in with their own story, it's not about you anymore, and it's not about you being heard. It's almost like comparison of some sort. So, um, you might relate to it by saying, I imagine that you feel, like describing how you notice that your child's feeling can be really helpful. Like, I see how angry you are. And even if you want to just say something, like you can just like nod, you can, oh, like make little remarks that you're actually paying attention and that you feel for them, that they have this strong emotion. Or even just kind of, maybe they don't have the words, so trying to teach certain words, so it sounds like you're feeling this way. Is that right? Like, you want your kid to feel like you either understand them or that you're at least trying to understand them. And another thing that can be really helpful, and I had somebody tell me recently that she tried out this tip with her son and it worked really well, is to give them something in fantasy that they can't have in reality. And so I forget exactly what it was that her son wanted, but I think it might have been ice cream. And he wanted more ice cream. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could give you a whole backyard full of ice cream. And they kind of got off on talking about how fun that would be and how much they would eat and what flavors. And then her son moved on, and it didn't turn into a big deal. And I thought that was such a great example to share, because it really shows that you were listening to your child, right? Like the fact that you could make it so big and so grand of a gesture, that obviously it couldn't really happen, but like they understood that you got how much they wanted the ice cream. So I just wanted to get into that a little bit more. I'm sure you might have questions or examples that you want to know what to do in your own situation. So feel free to let me know how I can help, and we'll get things figured out. I will talk to you guys soon.